Looks like Wuthering Waves is showcasing just the potential revenue that they can actually make in the gacha space. So the May revenue for gacha has came out, and it's just a little cheat sheet that basically shows the revenue for all the different games and stuff like that for mobile only. I wanted to bring this up because I think it's very interesting for people who said that Wuthering Waves are going to be dead on arrival. It wasn't going to do any well, and it's like, just kind of a nice little showcase of what the revenue is for Wuthering Waves. I also wanted to talk about some reasons that I feel like the number could have been a little bit more and a little bit less or whatever. So let's go ahead and jump into this. So the first thing is, I'm not going to talk too much about the games that I don't play, like Honkai Star Rail. I don't really know why I went down almost 10 mil, but 52 mil, that's insane. That's just CN. I think the global version here made 35 mil. That's like obviously not even counting the PC version or the PS5 version. They're obviously killing it. Honkai Star Rail came out swinging, bro, and they've not stopped since. Naruto Mobile, come over here, dude. 46 million I'd play. Solo leveling Arise, that's insane to see. 39 million. I personally played the Canada version of it, and it was a lot of fun, honestly. I wouldn't say it's as in-depth as Wuthering Waves, but it does have a really good combat system for a gachas game. So check that out if you guys want to. Arc Knights, bro. CN Arc Knights. Let's go. Top 4 almost. That went up 12 positions at 35 mil. They just had their anniversary, I believe. And then you have Genshin Impact, which I think is currently going through like a lull period. Again, I don't play these games, so I'm not 100% sure. Nikkei is sitting there strong at 20 mil. But let's talk about our boy, Wuthering Waves. That's what you're here for, right? CN got 13.8 mil. You might as well give them a little bit of a buff, 14 mil there. And then Wuthering Waves Global got 11 mil. So that's with launch issues, right? I don't think the JP stuff really affected it too much in the May revenue. So that's 8 days of revenue that they had in May. And I don't think JP messed with it too much because that was kind of like on the back end the last 2 days. So we'll kind of have to see if that translates into, the next month being June. And we'll have to kind of see it at the end of that. But hopefully they're able to kind of sort that out, because at this point, bro, they're self-inflicting a lot of things. And that potentially kind of makes me a little bit worried. But let's talk about this real quick, and then we'll kind of circle back to that. So the revenue, though, is like 25 mil for the game. And this is just mobile, right? So I think a lot of people are playing this game on PC, mainly because the launch issues were kind of forcing people to do so, because the mobile stuff just wasn't really working too much. There wasn't a lot of people able to jump into the mobile game for a couple of days at the launch. Obviously you got reimbursements and compensation and stuff like that, which obviously I think actually kind of reduced the amount of spending because you've got selectors and Kira was just kind of handing out stuff. So a lot of people just didn't really want to spend because like you got a ton of stuff. So you're just kind of hanging on to them. And I think we'll kind of see a lot of that kind of go into Yinlin and kind of give a nice little boost of revenue, just because Yinlin, first off, she's an amazing looking character, and she's going to be an amazing character if you're playing Calcaro or something like that. She's obviously just going to be a nice little booster character anyway. But her and Calcaro are going to go ham, dude. They're going to go insane. So I think a lot of people are going to spend on her just for her looks and just kind of the way she plays, plus what she can do for your teams. So I do think that this number will eventually like double, if not triple, for both things. I think CN will kind of get up there to maybe like the 30 mil, honestly, bro. And Wuthering Waves could probably sit at like 20 mil, a little bit higher than that. And I think the combined revenue will be very nice for the mobile whenever we get the little cheat sheet next month. And then the PC will obviously be whatever it is. Hopefully we get a PC, like a PlayStation 5 announcement at some point. That would also be pretty nice. That also doesn't include like the Mac port that they're going to be doing here soon. So yeah, hopefully we'll kind of see an influx, but this is very nice. So anybody who's been like a Kiro fan for a long time since PGR, we would have killed to see like a third of this number, bro. I would have been jumping in my seat for like 3-5 mil. I think the launch of PGR had like 1 million or something like that. Now it sits around like 200K, 300K. I think CN still does pretty well at like 500K. Now, of course, I would say PGR is a little bit more lower maintenance. So it's like, whenever you get 500K in a game like that, they're able to kind of put it right back into the game very well. And they've been putting all different characters and stuff like that, cool different events and mini events and stuff like that. So obviously they're putting that money back into it responsibly. But whenever you see this stuff for Kiro, you just can't, like, for me anyway, as somebody who just was so angry with PGR for a very long time with like some of the marketing stuff and knew the potential of the game, I'm so happy to see Wuthering Waves and Kiro just being able to do this. Now, what I'm not happy with is the self-inflicted wounds, dude. This is what I was talking about kind of like at the beginning of the video. They seem to be kind of like, growing a massive arm, getting really buff, and then they just cut off the other arm. And it's like, dude, just slow down and chill out. Like the localization stuff. And I do think they were kind of in a time crunch because they had just such a bad window, honestly, to get between like the Honkai Star Rail stuff and Zenless Zone Zero. They probably knew that that was eventually going to come like in July or kind of late summer. So they obviously knew that they were trying to get this game out in kind of a lull period so they can kind of get max revenue and get like max exposure, right? Because they're trying to pull some Honkai people over to kind of play the game for a little bit. They're obviously trying to get some audience members from like people frustrated with Genshin and stuff like that to come over. So they had a tight window and they're trying to do a ton of different things. They were obviously trying to change like the story and all the different things that they did right before CBT2 going into launch. So there's a lot of things that they just needed to kind of work on. Now, with that being said, they're going to have launch issues. They're going to have stuff where people can't log in, this, that, and the other. I do think it lasted a little bit longer. I do think that they handled it pretty well with the compensation. But when they came to the JP stuff, it's like that was such a self-inflicted thing where it's just like, it's such like a, you get to a point where Kiro, yes, they do localization errors and it's kind of a funny, haha, like that text is kind of messed up or like it's kind of reversed. But when they did the thing with Gian, it's like, that's not like a haha funny. That's like you pretty much like screwed people out of money for a lot of time. Now I know they're handling that on their own regard and kind of trying to do things JP. Like I'm not 100% caught up with that because I don't follow the JP market too much, but I will say that they're kind of like hopefully trying to be able to kind of figure that out and hopefully that doesn't affect the game too much. I think if anything ends up kind of self-inflicting Wuthering Waves and making the revenue lower, it's going to be stuff like that. And it's going to make me mad because I think the combat, honestly, the story's not bad. I've seen a lot of people talking about the story and stuff like that. I've yet to do the full story playthrough because I was trying to grind my account, but I plan on doing that. I know it starts very slow. PGR did, Arknights did. All these games ended up being phenomenal when it came to like the mid sections into the over like, ending arcs and stuff like that of these games. It takes a while. It takes a minute to build some story, bro. You got to get connected with these characters and stuff like that. Could there be different ways that Wuthering Waves takes it? Sure. But I've heard a lot of people talking very nicely about like after Scar and like Act 6 and stuff like that. So I'm excited to be able to jump in there and I hope they keep that momentum like they did with PGR. They were able to do quite a lot of stuff and PGR is actually one of the better, if not one of the, well, I won't say the best, but one of the better gacha like stories, right? I mean, obviously when you're comparing it to something like Honkai Star Rail and stuff like that, I would say Honkai Star Rail might have the best gacha story from the stuff that I was able to read. But yeah, it's just one of those things where, they could definitely do things a little bit differently and I hope they go in the right way. But the thing is, you don't want them to end up like, shooting themselves in the foot when they have great combat, potentially a good story and the kind of like, future and stuff like that. Good boss fights, a lot of fun with the echo grinding. I've been having a blast doing echo grinding. Maybe eventually when I do substat stuff, it'll be kind of boring, but in game's a lot of fun. The characters all feel good. We all know that the characters are just going to get more complex, more fun. If we're looking at PGR, bro, Gen 1 had probably the most basic characters, dude. Like you can pretty much understand them very easily. And then they have like Alpha Crimson Weave, they have Bianca, the new Bianca, and then they just start getting more and more complex characters and then you start learning them and start having a lot of fun. The characters look great and they have like coatings and stuff like that. If they ever eventually get to a point where they start adding like skins and coatings and stuff, I could see this number like tripled, bro. And I could see it on average, dude. I could see it like, I don't know, 30, 40 mil on the CN and maybe like 20, 25 mil on global. I think this game potentially has a lot of like kind of potential to make a lot of money if they play their cards right. And I would hate for them to not do it just because they keep doing self-inflicted stuff. That stuff makes me so mad when they have a good foundation and they're building on what I really enjoyed about PGR, but putting it into kind of a new space and a new like kind of open world. I love it, dude. I want to see them do well. I've always been rooting for them ever since PGR, and I just want to see this company do well. But I get so tired of the stuff when they just kind of like, weep, sorry. And it's like, no, sorry, dude. Take a breath, slow the hell down. Look, we got crunch time. We got it out. We got it all figured out. Let's take a step back, Hero. Kind of reevaluate what needs to be fixed. Make another dev talk. Let everybody know what kind of feedback you're doing. Kind of go through it and talk about what you're doing to fix it. Let the community know what's going on. That was one of the best things that Kiro was doing for kind of the interim of CBT1 into CBT2. Having that dev talk and just talking about the feedback and what they're going to change and what they're kind of working on is such a breath of fresh air when it comes to this gacha space. When you just have so many corporations that are just like faceless, like boom, 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 money. And it's like, I get so tired of like kind of making content for that or playing games. I want to kind of see Wuthering Waves do well because Kiro Games is doing really good at communicating. And I want to see them continue to do that. I don't want them to get kind of like blinded by the money that they're going there for and kind of getting, and then eventually just like, okay, well, we're not going to talk to the community anymore. Who cares? Like they want to take the good constructive feedback, implement it into the game, but they want to be careful not to do too much of like player feedback because obviously they're trying to make their own game. They're not wanting, me to make their game. I'm not a storyteller. You know what I mean? So I'll trust some of the different things, but if it's a big issues like the JP stuff and all that different things, they need to address it. And they have been very quickly. And sometimes they're not doing it very well. So I think the game potentially has like, just a lot of future stuff, like stuff that they can do in the future that really will kind of hone in the game being maybe like a top contender, a top 10 contender very, very easily. I could see them sitting up here a lot of the times. Now I will say like CN and Global, I do just kind of put them like, Honkai Star Rail is a top 1 game, like top 1 game, right? And then Genshin is like top, 3 or 4 or 5, whatever. I kind of see them as together, but I think that I could see like Wuthering Waves together with CN and the global side being a top 10 game for a long time. I think they could be making like, 40, 50K together for CN and global. I think they have potential to be able to do that. And I think if they continue to put that money, just like they did with PGR, back into the game and do a lot of quality of life stuff and talk about it, they have potential to go very, very far. I want to see Kiro do that. I think that they are such a good dev when it comes to communication. They just sometimes do stuff that they shouldn't do and then shoot themselves in the foot, like the JP stuff. I just feel like that was handled kind of poorly and just kind of the way it went. But hopefully they're able to rectify that and kind of find a good ground for JP and not kill that market instantly. Because like I said, I just really would hate to have such a good game with a good foundation, a lot of fun, be killed out by some, stupid thing like that. So that's just kind of my 2 cents. I just wanted to kind of make this video because I know a lot of people are really bashing this game, and whether it was for like clout or views or clicks on Twitter or whatever, I don't care. People say stuff sometimes just because they don't actually think it. They just think it's kind of like the fun thing to do to piss people off. And I just kind of want to create a more positive space in the Wuthering Waves stuff and just talk about some of their upcomings and, kind of not really bash them, but let them know about some of the stuff that they fall short on so they can improve. I know that they have the drive to improve and they take feedback seriously. So hopefully they're able to, maybe not watch this video, but kind of take the feedback from all the JP stuff and just kind of the community in general, give us a dev talk, kind of talking about what they're doing and go there for, just kind of the future stuff. So anyway, I think the game's going to be pretty good. And I think it's going to be fun. And I think we're going to see these numbers go up if they keep doing the right things. But that's just kind of my take on it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good rest of the night, guys. Peace.